Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. That's it. And on the next outward breath, just allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, just allow your breathing to slow. And with that slow inward and outward breath in, just allow yourself to relax, positioning your body in a way where tension in your body can be released. And as you breathe in and breathe out, scan your body for any clues of tension. Maybe tension in your eyelids, your jaw, neck or shoulders. And as you breathe in that resourceful feeling of relaxation, imagine it has the ability to melt away tension. Just like ice cubes in the sun. Feel the warmth of that resourceful feeling of relaxation melting away the tension, melting away the stress, any anxiety just melting away. And then feel how good it feels for it to leave your body in that outward breath, enabling you to feel deeper and deeper relaxed, simply by breathing in and breathing out. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine watching a movie. Maybe it's a movie in a cinema, but I want you to imagine that in this particular movie, you are the star. And I want you to imagine, first of all, seeing a future that motivates you to change. Imagine the comfortable seats of that cinema. It's a private cinema just for you. And on that big screen, imagine seeing a version of you perhaps 5 years from now that never took control of your weight. There was always good reasons. You're busy, hard at work, you're a foodie. All these things you've been telling yourself, but see that future version of you, perhaps heavier than you are now. I want you to see the impact it's had, perhaps on your sleeping, on the style of clothes you feel like you can wear. I want you to see the facial expressions of people when you're not noticing, maybe an element of judgment. Perhaps in that future version of you, you can see maybe it's having an impact on a relationship. Maybe it's affected libido. Maybe it contributed to snoring or lack of sleep. I want you to see a future where there are consequences attached to ever-increasing weight. But you're just in a cinema watching a movie, but you're seeing a version of yourself that is creating a feeling of discomfort. As you look at that future version of yourself, there is a feeling of desire to avoid that future. But I want you to imagine this movie gets worse. See yourself with the people that you would be with, working with the people you would be with, but carrying even more weight. Maybe it's affecting your health. Maybe this future version of you gets sick more often. Maybe it's damaging relationships, that people that used to rely on you aren't sure if they can rely on you. Maybe there was just one sick day too many, just as a side effect of that increasing weight. Or maybe someone that you love dearly changed how they feel about you because of that increasing weight. Maybe it led to a change. Maybe they weren't so affectionate. Maybe they looked at you differently. I want you to see that future version of you where there are undesirable consequences to an increasing weight. And if you can imagine that future and acknowledge that this would be undesirable but avoidable, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. But I want you to imagine it gets even worse. Sometimes in movies, there'll be just some text on the screen that says 5 years later or 10 years later. And then suddenly you jump forward in time, and I want you to see a version of you perhaps 10 years later, and I want you to see that you're even heavier than you were before. I want you to see that that version of you has had even more consequences as a result of the ever-increasing weight. Maybe it's cost certain career opportunities. Maybe there was a relationship that you valued that didn't work out. I want you to see that it's had an impact on your overall health. The energy that you had before is not in this future version of you. I want you to see a version of you where you've lost a little bit of that spark, that joy, that enthusiasm. Maybe there's a future version of you a bit bitter, resentful, partly down to consequences that have happened in life, but also perhaps the real resentment is from yourself to yourself, an annoyance that you weren't able to get in control. You weren't able to stick to certain choices, that you were able to be more discerning for other people than you were for yourself. You were able to do more for other people than you were for yourself. But I want you to imagine in this future version of you that there is a major health consequence to this ever-increasing weight. And maybe that's a heart attack, maybe a stroke, maybe a diagnosis of diabetes. And I want you to imagine the impact that would have on you and the people you love the most. And imagine it there, large, big cinema screen right in front of you. See that future version of you where reality hits hard. And if you can imagine an undesirable future, the kind of undesirable future that would unlock a relentless determination and resolve to avoid this future, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to imagine shifting perspective from the cinema chair into the screen in the aftermath of this undesirable outcome with a thought. There are only two thoughts when something devastating happens. One is acceptance. This is my life now, I better get used to it. Or two, an absolute, relentless desire to change things and get back on track. And I want you to tap into that feeling of you will do whatever it takes to improve your health, to lose this weight. And I want you to imagine if this was 10 or 15 years in the future, what you might be weighing at that point in time, what your age would be, the overall impact, your habits, your diet at that point in time. And acknowledge that if you feel that you can turn things around then you could definitely turn things around now. So I want you to imagine how it would feel to rewind time from that point in the future that doesn't exist all the way back to the present. Imagine years happening backwards, it all changing, everything happening backwards. The health issues didn't happen. Any consequences in work or relationships didn't happen. It all happens in reverse until you feel that you're connected to this version of you right now, but still with a resolve to make a change. And if you feel a relentless determination, a resolution, not to dabble in something, but to do whatever it takes for you to have a body that you desire and all the benefits that would bring, let me know by nodding your head. Imagine you're back in that cinema. But I want you to imagine seeing yourself in the past at a point where you were successfully losing weight. You're back there in that cinema, feeling in the present, but looking at you in the past. And I want you to see that younger version of you that had been heavier but was losing weight. And I want you to see the facial expression. I want you to notice the choices. They might be surrounded by all these different options of food, and yet they would make certain choices. I want you to see that one of the qualities in that version of you that enabled you to lose that weight, maybe 5 or 6 stone, I want you to see the quality of discernment. Making excellent choices, excellent decisions, not once or twice, consistently. But this is a version of you in the past, big on that screen. Meal after meal, day after day, making excellent choices, excellent decisions. And not just making the decisions reluctantly, but owning those decisions. Feeling a sense of pride about making those decisions. And if you can see that younger version of you being discerning, resourceful, determined, making good choice after good choice, but not perfect choices, just generally and consistently good choices, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to see what else you were doing. All those things that were effective in the past will still be effective now. Maybe you were drinking more water. Maybe you were eating more slowly. Maybe you were eating better quality food, but eating less of it. Maybe you were typically eating at meals rather than snacking in between. Maybe you were more thoughtful about the food you were shopping and buying. If you were in a restaurant, the choices you were making from the menu. You're the observer, and treat your past as reconnaissance. All those things you were doing in the past aren't just possible again, but they're possible and can be enhanced and amplified. I want you to play detective. They say wisdom is learning from the past. So as you observe that younger version of you making good choices consistently, I want you to feel that increasing level of wisdom. And I want you to evaluate the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Generally, there's 2 key things that separate knowledge from wisdom. Wisdom often comes from experience. And as you look at that screen, see that this is an intellectual knowledge read in books. You are figuring what works for you and your body in your real experience. And if you agree that you have not just knowledge but wisdom about what works for you and your body, let me know by nodding your head. But perhaps the second distinction, wisdom is knowledge put to use. So if you have the knowledge as to what to do, and then choose not to do it, are you wise or are you a fool? They say tragedy is having the talent, the capability, the possibility of doing something and not taking those opportunities. I want you to tap into that wonderful feeling of wisdom that comes from real experiences, and then think about how you can put that wisdom to work to avoid a future that could be devastatingly disastrous for you. And if you feel that you've unlocked not just the desire, but a strategy, maybe that's a strategy of smaller portions. Maybe the portions are just as big, but what you eat is different. Maybe there's less snacking, drinking more water, eating more slowly. As you observe those strategies, absorb and reawaken those strategies within you. And then imagine seeing one final version of you on that cinema screen. The near future. You haven't lost the weight yet, but you're seeing a version of you doing the right things that would lead to that. And as you see yourself on that screen, I want you to open your mind to powerful suggestions about a future that could be compelling, desirable for you. See yourself doing the things that could lead to a confident, athletic body. See yourself on a path of effortless weight loss, shedding the excess pounds naturally and gradually. Imagine that future version of you, not years in the future, but just days, weeks, or months in the future, enjoying exercise. See yourself being more active, and see a version of you where that activity invigorates your body and your mind. See yourself with a newfound motivation, a drive to train. And no matter how busy you are, see a version of you making time to be active. But see this in an adaptable way. On the days that you're less busy, maybe you're going to the gym or walking or running. And on the days where you're really busy, maybe the activity is different. Maybe it's just being more active on set. See yourself enjoying a satisfying and balanced diet. Whenever you can make the choices, see yourself making the choices to focus on lean meats, fish, vibrant vegetables or salads. But more importantly, see yourself enjoying those foods. Acknowledge that you have the ability to commit to regular workouts at least 3 times a week. Some weeks it may be more, but always 3 workouts a week, knowing that when you can stick to 3 workouts a week, you're building a strong foundation to build that athletic body of your future. And I want you to see that future version of you as the days turn into weeks and weeks turn into months. I want you to see yourself with increasing confidence, and you can tell that from how you're walking, your facial expressions, the clothes you're wearing, but also see you with an increasing libido, more energy. See yourself unlocking a powerful energy that is obvious to you, but also projected to other people. The journey is just as important as the destination. So I want you to see yourself looking confident while you're making these decisions, even before you've lost significant weight. Embrace the notion that you are inherently confident and sexy, even if you're at the weight that you won't be for much longer. Release any doubts about recognizing yourself and instead see the powerful and resilient person you're becoming. Your vision of the future is more important than the reflection you see in the mirror. And if your unconscious mind is open to consistent decisions and choices that take your life in a wonderful direction, let me know by nodding your head. And see that version of you on that cinema screen. See a compelling, realistic, viable future. And then I want you to step into that future version of you where you've already started to make progress. When you're in that future version of you, perhaps just 3 or 4 weeks in the future, let me know by nodding your head. And then feel a deep sense of satisfaction as you nourish your body with wholesome, meaty meals and fresh, crisp vegetables. Feel how good it feels to look forward to workouts. Each session brings you closer to your fitness goals, but a wonderful feeling of accomplishment and satisfaction. And you could acknowledge your inner strength and believe in your ability to follow through with your weight loss plan. This isn't just thoughts and ideas. This is intentions manifesting reality. And I want you to imagine that several months have gone by and you can see a reflection of your mirror where you've already lost significant weight. See that your health has improved, your confidence has improved. And as you look at your reflection, look into your eyes and see that you're radiating positivity and a sense of self-assurance. Embrace the idea that you are on a journey of self-discovery, a journey of transformation, that it becomes exciting, motivating, and compelling for you to become the very best version of yourself. Imagine day after day, it gets easier and easier to make healthier choices, both in your diet and your lifestyle. And because it gets easier and easier and you're more and more consistent, your body is rewarding you with these discerning choices, responding positively to your efforts, giving you the benefit of feeling lighter, stronger, more energetic, and ever-increasing libido. Because you are worthy of love, respect, and confidence exactly as you are. It's just that by losing weight, you become even more confident, even more healthy, even more of the very person you want to be. I want you to imagine perhaps 6 months have gone by and you can feel lighter in your feet. You're wearing different clothes, and I want you to imagine that you're turning up to work with the kind of clothes that you could only wear if you've lost significant weight. And maybe you're going on set, surrounded by people that haven't seen you for several months, and feel how good it feels to hear those compliments, to see people smiling at you. Know that you're being evaluated in a positive way and you absolutely love it. And then imagine you reach a point where you're looking in the mirror, seeing an athletic, confident, healthy version of you staring back, realizing that this is who you are destined to be. You don't have to celebrate when you get to the finishing line because there is no finishing line. This is just you making choices to be healthy and confident, changing your lifestyle so that what you do naturally gets you to this body shape, but more importantly, keeps you at this body shape. And if you feel good being lighter, stronger, more confident and healthier, just let me know by nodding your head. And accept the idea that this is now a blueprint for your destiny. Not wishful thinking, not a possibility, but a destiny. And you're willing to do whatever it takes to manifest this destiny. Feel like you're back in that cinema seat, looking up at the screen, seeing all the benefits that come from this future athletic version of you, how it improves your relationship, your energy levels, your sleep, your confidence. See all of the benefits on this future version of you that has achieved this strong, confident, athletic body. And if you feel that this has unlocked the very resources that will enable you to get there, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. Feel that inner sense of determination, discernment, optimism, but also a fierce, fierce determination to do what is necessary to move in this very direction. As you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose, feel like you're returning to the present, listening to me right now in this moment. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Feel like you're fully integrated right now as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, motivated, determined, ready to make decisions that build momentum, that move you in the very direction where more momentum is possible. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.